In a democracy, we are required every 4 years, or in some countries it's 5 years, but within certain periods of time, we are all required to come together and decide who we want to lead us. In making that decision, we must be careful that we don't make mistakes, because when we make mistakes, it comes with consequences. In 2016, Ghana was not heaven, but at least we were making progress. Ghana was not heaven, but at least unemployment was lower. Ghana was not heaven, but at least our cedi was stronger. Ghana was not heaven, but at least interest rates were lower. Ghana was not heaven, but at least inflation was lower. Ghana was not heaven, but we were producing almost 1 million tons of cocoa every year. Ghana was not heaven, but we were getting $2 billion from cocoa every year. Ghana was not heaven, and yet we're producing more oil and gas every year. Ghana was not heaven, and yet our lights were stable. And then some people came and said that that was not enough for Ghanaians, and that they could move things faster, and they were going to turn Ghana into a paradise. And so they came with sweet promises. Ghana nye hiamai. Yet is the castle a comedy. Then the next one, they said, we have a solid economic management team. Honorable Osafo Mafo, Honorable Alan Cheramate, Honorable Keno Horiata. And then he asked a question. He said, which of you remembers the NDC economic management team? And that was because our management team had doers, not talkers. And so when he finished, he said, what a solid team. Solid team. Today, the one who was the head of that team is running away from the economy completely. But he's still the head of the economic management team that has sent us into debt crisis. Still a member of the economic management team that has given our pensioners haircuts on their bonds. Still ahead of the economic management team that has increased unemployment from above 8% to almost 15%. Still the head of the economic management team that has moved the cedi from less than $4 to almost 4 cedis per dollar to almost 16 cedis per dollar. Still head of the economic management team that took inflation to 54%. And is currently 20-something%. Still the head of the economic management team, where when you go to borrow money from a bank, the interest rate is 32%. And the person has run away from the economy and gone to seek refuge in digitalization. And so, like I said, elections have consequences. And if you make a mistake, it will haunt you. And that was not all. If the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. And that was not all. When we come into office, we're going to give you 1 district, 1 factory, 1 village, 1 dam, $1 million per constituency per year. Not knowing it was all 419. It was just meant to get your vote so that they could get power and come and enrich themselves. Today, corruption has gone through the roof. Today, it is a small family and their friends who are enjoying the opportunities of this country. And the rest of Ghanaians have been left in hunger and hardship. In 2016, if we made the mistake, it is pardonable. In 2020, we still hadn't seen through them. Oh, free electricity, free water, free what? And so, if we made a mistake, it is pardonable. But in 2024, the third time, can we make that mistake again? In Akan language, I don't know if we have it in Frafra. They say, let me say it in Hausa. Anche wawa bataka abinganshi so nawa. So be I didn't say it. Oh, I didn't say Gbewa. You said it. Ezu antutaka ya ibu na chiwo. Mumberi sutaka kuma. Ezu. But look at something. Somebody said, try me. In Twi they say Someshe. How do you say it in Frafra? In Uganda. Try me. They say Someshe. And that even 4 years, he doesn't make Ghana a paradise. He said he will make Ghana paradise in 18 months. We should remove him. And we made a mistake and tried him. And the result is what we are seeing today. Today, his candidate also says, try me. And that if I don't perform, remove me. And I'm telling him that the youth of Ghana are tired of experiments. They don't want to try anybody again. What they want is an experienced and safe pair of hands to move this country out of the economic crisis into which NPP has plunged us. And if you remember, anytime they talked about Mahama incompetent, NDC incompetent, incompetent NDC administration, incompetent Mahama administration, incompetent, and I said, hey, my friends, take it easy. The president's job is not an easy one. You've never been there before. I remember I told them, I said, if Rawlings says I'm incompetent, I'll take it because he's been president before. If Kufuor says it, I'll take it. If Mills says it, I'll take it because they have been presidents before. But you have never even breathed the air of the president's chair. So I told them, I said, take it easy. I'm sure today, now they themselves realize that it's not an easy job. But what we need today is an experienced driver. We don't need a driver's mate. Where Ghana is, we need an experienced driver to move the car out of the ditch, put it back on the road, and drive us safely to our destination. And not only a driver, we also need a co-driver. Not a driver's mate too. We need a co-driver. And that co-driver is a woman. That co-driver is a very accomplished and capable woman. She's not going to be a driver's mate. She's going to be a co-driver. And so, God created man and woman, and He made us partners to each other. He didn't make women our slaves. He didn't make women our servants. We went and asked God for a partner, and He created that partner for us. And so wherever we go, we must go with our women. Our women in Ghana have occupied every important position of the land. They've been Chief Justice, they've been Director of Prisons, they've been Attorney General, they've been Foreign Minister, they've been Minister of Transport, Ministry of Fisheries, they've been everything. The only thing that women have not achieved is the two highest positions of the land, Vice President and President. Today, by the grace of God, history is about to be made. Today, by the grace of God, history is about to be made. For the first time in the history of Ghana, I am convinced that on 7th December, for the first time, we would have a vice president elect who is a woman. And that will be a role model for our mothers, our sisters, and our daughters, that they too can aspire to reach the highest office of the land. And I believe that one day, a woman will be president of this country. And like I said, this woman, Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, is an accomplished woman. She was the first woman vice president of a public university. And since she became that and she opened the door, many other women have become vice chancellors. Nana Jane was my Minister of Education. When basic education students had all their 4 core textbooks, before she became, 4 children used to share 1 textbook. When she became minister, each child had 4 textbooks to themselves. I'm credited with the e-blocks and the community day schools. The one who did the legwork, the designs, the costing, all the technical work to be able to do the e-blocks was Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman. So, like I said, she's not going to be a driver's mate, she's going to be a co-driver. We're going to do division of labor. While I handle Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Interior, Finance Ministry, and all those other ministries, she'll be in charge of the Education Ministry, the Health Ministry, the Ministry of Gender and Social Protection. All those social ministries, she will be overseeing them, while I oversee fixing our economy again, protecting our country. I know there are a lot of things that are dear to the people of Bolga, and I spoke about them earlier this evening when I met the chiefs. I know that when we came, we upgraded the Bolga town roads because we had made it a municipality, but the road network was very poor, and so we asphalted Bolga town roads for the first time and upgraded the roads to fit the municipal status that it had. We also started working on the Bolga Upper East Regional Hospital in Bolgatanga. We finished the first phase. We got the money for the second phase. Part of the second phase was done, but because of the delay of this government, the debt restructuring affected it. And so the last phase, which is supposed to cover equipment for the hospital, unfortunately has not happened. I want to assure the people of Bolga that we will fund the funding so that we can equip that hospital so that you don't have to travel all the way to Tamale for medical care. You'll be able to get your medical care here in Bolga. We did the asphalt overlay from Buipe to Tamale because the road had deteriorated, and so we put a new asphalt overlay. The next phase was supposed to be from Tamale to Bolgatanga, and then we left office. If you pass on the Bolga-Tamale road today, it's in a very poor state. And so we're going to prioritize it so that when we come, we do the asphalt overlay so that you can drive safely from Tamale to Bolga without any inconvenience. For those of us who have to travel urgently, an emergency comes and you have to travel. Currently, you have to drive from Bolga to Tamale airport to go and catch the flight. When we came, we had selected a location for the Bolga airport. We'll continue the project of the Bolga airport. Because it is possible to have a viable Bolga airport. The plane can take Tamale and Bolga passengers mixed. When it gets to Tamale, it will drop the Tamale passengers. It will take the Tamale passengers going to Accra. It will come to Bolga, drop the Bolga passengers, and take the Bolga passengers who are going back to Accra, straight back to Accra. And so there are a lot that we are going to do, but what I promise you is that I will tell you the truth at all times. We are yet to go into government. I'm sure we will go and meet a messed economy, that we know, but maybe it's worse than we thought it will be. But when we come, we're going to look at the books and we're going to tell you what is in the books, what the state of the Ghanaian economy is. Also, it is important that if you decide that you want to work in public service, you must be what? Accountable. Be accountable, go and open company. Whatever you do is your business. But once you come into public office and you are paid with taxpayers' money, and you are paid, looked after by taxpayers, then the taxpayers can count. And so, after every government, people will be ready to account. When I left office in 2017, I said, yes, we've left office, we're prepared to be held accountable. And so ask us anything you want, investigate us however you want. The same thing must happen after every government go out of power. Over these last 8 years, a lot of corruption has happened. Over these last 8 years, a lot of stealing has happened. Over these last 8 years, a lot of misappropriation has happened. Now what this government wants to do is to bring their vice president as the next president so that he can cover up for them, so that they cannot be investigated. Bawumia cannot investigate Akufo-Addo's government. Bawumia cannot investigate a government of which he was part of. And so they are desperate to have him so that they'll escape the day of accountability. That is not going to happen. People's money, be ready to bring it back. We'll collect the people's money back for them. be ready to account for it and bring the people's property back to them. What has happened this last 8 years is not the whole NPP party. A lot of them are dissatisfied with what is going on, but they cannot talk. It is only a few people who are connected to the family that have benefited. It is only those who are part of the Ajapadia circle who have benefited. It is only they who have benefited. And so a lot of the NPP people themselves want their people to be held accountable. And so they tell me, President Mahama, do your best. Let us take our party into opposition and we'll go and reorganize in opposition. They tell me. And they say, if we go into opposition and you come, and our people who stole money, you don't deal with them, we ourselves, we and the NDC people will come and sack you out of the Jubilee House. But before all this can happen, including a modern sports stadium for Bolgatanga, because in sports you can create jobs. We have a lot of talents here. We have the young Michaelasians here. We have the young Azuma Nelsons here. We have the young athletes here. We must have a modern stadium where they can practice and realize their full potential. And we are not talking about the 2x4 stadiums that they are building in some places. We are talking about modern stadium with all the facilities.